Over the last decade or so, TV shows have slowly become a joke I'll never advise anyone to take seriously. And I'm talking about discovering a show and falling in love with said show. Falling so bad for said show that you've decided to dedicate your time, your precious time, that you could be using to do literally anything else. And then you finally see this show to the end. And it's garbage! Dog shit! A 2-pack of ass! Or worse, it gets cancelled after the first season. Who the fuck is running this shit? Are y'all fucking crazy? And I'm talking to you, Netflix. Yes, you especially. I cannot count the amount of times I've started a show on Netflix, all for me to find out that the show ends on a cliffhanger and got cancelled after the first season. A good example of this is Daybreak. Now, I discovered this show about 3 years ago, and the only way I was able to acquire this show was by taking to the 7 seas. Now, I'm not gonna talk about the show. Y'all go watch it yourselves. But it is a really good watch. And I went through 10 episodes of this show, only for it to end on a cliffhanger. And I was absolutely mortified to find out that there was no season 2. Like, come on, man. What the fuck are you doing, cuz? That same year, I discovered another show called The Society. And guess what? This show also got cancelled after the first season. Pulling bullshit like this is what Netflix is popularly known for. And that's not even a crazy thing to say. I could pull out an entire scroll of incomplete shows or just shows with terrible endings, and they would all be Netflix. Is this nigga? But back to the topic, y'all. The curse of bad endings. This is generally just aimed at Netflix because this is sort of like their forte. I mean, they're so good at it, I can't think of a single original Netflix show that had an actually good ending. And I'm not gonna lie, Netflix, just put the fries in the bag. Shows having terrible endings nowadays has become such a trend. I was not in any way surprised that The Boys faced that same fate. And it goes all the way back to Game of Thrones. Now, I haven't seen a singular episode of Game of Thrones, and I could see from a mile away that with just how much hype the show is getting, the ending is gonna disappoint so many people. And boy, was I so right. Game of Thrones fans will try and sugarcoat it so bad. And I'ma hold you by your shoulder and tell you this. If a show drags you across 8 seasons, not to even mention the spin-offs, and the ending just happens to be trash, then the whole thing may as well just be trash. I'm sorry, but hear me out real quick. What is the point of watching a show that is that long, all for a terrible ending? I would rather watch paint dry than to even bother watching the show at all. Another show that is just as bad is Stranger Things. Now, me personally, I would say the show went downhill right after the first season. You wanna know why? Sit down, brother. Let me educate you a bit. The first half of season 2 was nothing special. But then the second half, we are taken to the most random, most useless side quest I've ever seen in my life, where we are introduced to Callie.
Look at the top of his head.
Another girl with powers. Now, you would see this and think they had a good reason to introduce her character this early. No, they did not, because she does not return until the very last season. And the only reason they brought her back was to tell the main character to kill herself. All for her to die the very next episode. And I'm crying. These writers can kill any other character but a single person from the main cast. You are trash. But I gotta give Callie her flowers. #1 most useless character in the entire show. Literally no other competition. So for the sake of this video, I will say the show got bad right after season 4. And speaking of season 4, they really pulled another dumb side quest with Jim Hopper. Ain't nobody wanna see that shit. Season 5 was a whole ass disaster. And one of the things that really pissed me off is what I mentioned like a couple seconds ago. It's how they were unable to kill a single character this entire season. They couldn't even kill off a character as irrelevant as Mike's father. Not gonna lie, when I saw this man get pieced up like this, I genuinely thought it was raps. Only for him to tank a full-blown strike to the chest and survive. How? Now, I would have said the same about their mother if she didn't take out 2 Demogorgons. Another thing they did that last season that really pissed me off is how useless they made Vecna seem. This man had 5 seasons and could not take out a single person from the main cast. and the one person he could get a hold of got off with a coma and temporary paralysis. You are a fraud. He was so less threatening that season that even Will almost took him out for the feast.
Oh, scary. Shut up, man.
And I'm going to end it off by saying that season had so many plot holes. Absolute bullshit. Bad endings have even started slowly creeping into the anime/manga community, as one of my favorite mangas of all time has faced that fate, Chainsaw Man. And honestly, I'm not even gonna blame this shit on Western entertainment. Tatsuki Fujimoto, you are an absolute piece of... Umbrella Academy is yet another victim of this tomfoolery. Like I said at the start of this video, I won't be talking about these shows. Go watch them yourself. If you haven't seen Umbrella Academy, congratulations. But if you have, then you understand my pain. Cause it hurt me so much to see how bad the ending of that show was, considering just how much potential it had. For those of you who have not seen the show, let me put it this way for y'all. The last episode ends with all the main characters dying, essentially resetting the entire world, where they probably never existed.
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
Man, that's some bullshit. Like, what the fuck was the point of the first 3 seasons, man? And now that I look at it, most of the shows I done mentioned in this entire video are just Netflix shows. They really just be dishing out some of the most disgusting endings I done ever seen in my life. Truly, the GOAT. On whose book, nigga? Get that shit the fuck out of here, bro. And this will lead me to the last show of the day. And I'm crying, it's literally another Netflix show. Squid Game is one of those shows I really wish they just canceled after the first season. Because I'm not gonna lie, everything after that first season was absolute bullshit. Now, let me explain. Season 1 was so good mostly because of how intense it was. The random twists and turns from the uncertainty of when our main characters are gonna die to number 1 not actually dying, all the way down to the final battle. It was incredible. And let's be honest with ourselves for a sec. Some of the situations these players had to go through were genuinely relatable as fuck. You're putting my life on the line, and all I have to do to win is trick an old man into getting all his marbles.
Really, nigga?
Come on, man. That's too easy. But then in season 2, we lost all of that. There was nothing to look forward to, and we already knew that player number 1 was still not going to die, which they could have easily just fixed by not revealing his identity the first season. I mean, sure, the games were different, but what else is? Fast forward to season 3, we have the worst detective of all time.
Try!
One of the dumbest rich guys I've ever seen in my life, a bunch of random characters, and a baby. That's a recipe for some dog shit. But listen, guys, here's my reasoning. I personally feel like a lot of shows that carry a buttload of hype are just bound to have a terrible ending. Cause when a show is popular, a lot of people have a grand scheme of how they want the story to end or how the story should end, thanks to just how popular the show is. So at that point, no amount of writing can really satisfy majority of the audience. And that's just one theory, to be honest. A lot of the time, the writers just be tripping or just high as fuck. So that'll be it for this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed recording and editing this shit. So please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.